How did you enjoy your coaching days?
For the most part, I loved it. I had some great guy, Luongo. You guys had Luongo. I mean,
Yeah.
I had him when he was like 23, 22.
And is he the character that he
He,
perceived the fan?
he's one of the greatest guys I know in the game. Very personable, funny, good teammate, a good leader, good student to the game, and to when I coached him. Another guy, Pascal Leclerc, kind of same way. Whatever I say jump, they say how high. They didn't question saying, "Oh, I had this goalie coach when I was 12, and he said, there was none of that." Because you do get guys like that. I've had a couple. I remember this one kid. I won't mention his name, but he was from Czechoslovakia or Czech somewhere over there, and he just was not buying anything I sold, and his style was. We used to call him the claw, the lobster, because he held his hand like this instead of like this, and I tried to correct those things, and his rebuttal was always, "Oh, Hasek, Hasek, Hasek."
But Hasek was one of a kind.
I finally told the kid, you're not Hasek.
Yeah.
And Hasek was very coachable. I know because the goalie coach in Buffalo, good friend of mine still today, Mitch Korn, had Hasek and did one of Vezina or a couple of Vezinas with him. So yeah, but that's hard to coach when they got that. I'm from the Czech and Hasek's from the Czech, so I'm Hasek. No, you're not, son.
No, and you'll never be Hasek.
No, nobody's ever Hasek.
He never played an NHL game.
Oh, there you go.
And of course, we have meetings, and as coaches and scouts and all those things. End of the season meetings, those things, we're all together, and they, of course, with the goalies, I have the most input on these meetings on the goalies, and I was like, this kid is, get rid of him, don't re-sign him. He doesn't want to learn. He's got it all figured out, and he's not going to improve.
Do you find the European players are a little stubborn compared to like the Western or like Canadians or Americans?
Well, I wouldn't say, I don't know if stubborn's the right word. Like I had Kiprasov. Kipper, and you talk about a funny son of a gun.
Oh yeah, I smoked cigarettes with Kiprasov outside the bar one time after Canucks and Calgary game.
Yeah, Kipper was a unique guy. You had to gain his trust. Once you were in his in his bubble kind of thing, he would open up. He'd laugh. Johan Hedberg, yeah, they played in San Jose's farm system in Kentucky when they both came over. And Hedberg told me, he goes, Kipper pretended he couldn't speak English for 2 years because he didn't want the coach to yell at him or talk to him or anything. And yeah.
I feel like a lot of the European players pull that stunt. We got a guy in Vancouver that does that too.
Yeah, they understand. They might not speak it well, but most of them understand because, if they're aspiring hockey players and they're 17, 18, years old and playing in Finland or Russia or whatever, if their agent is smart, and I'm assuming most agents are smart, being in the game like they are, they get them English lessons way before they're even drafted because they know they're probably going to go to North America. So I think most of them understand the language pretty good before they come over.
You had Muckler with you too at one point.
Johnny Muckler, yeah, he was the coach in Buffalo when I was there.
What's it like having that around you when he's a legend too?
Mux was old school for sure, very direct, very honest, very fair. I like John. A lot of people were intimidated by him because he's old school toughness, but I loved him. I really did.
The era you played in as well, you played against the best players of all time. I mean, with Gretzky and Lemieux and Yzerman, those guys, like how was it playing against them?
Well, I always tell a story about Gretzky. He wasn't very good. He owes all his success to me because he would light me up every time and got all that confidence.
I think every record he ever set was against the Canucks, believe it or not. You look it up, it's like Most points, Canucks. His last game. Most goals, Canucks.
802 against the Canucks. St. Louis Blue. He had like a hat trick. I believe it was a hat trick. It might have been 5 points, but
Right. But he was phenomenal. I mean, one of the best, if not the best, in my mind. And the guys I played against. I mean, I didn't play against Gordie Howe. Maybe I did in Hartford. He might have been with the boys. I'm not sure. But anyways,
That's when he came back, right? Yeah.
yeah. But Gretzky, they call him a whiner and this and that. And I got invited to his golf tournament in Edmonton one time, and being dumb, the hotel was downtown Edmonton, but the golf course was outside of Edmonton, and I didn't know that you take your clothes for the banquet after and change after golf to your clothes. And so I was like, oh damn, and Gretz was like, here, take my Mercedes and go get your clothes. And and I didn't know him very well, hardly at all. And I remember after that golf tournament too, I played and coached, either played or coached with Brent, his brother, or Keith. Keith I played with, I know. And but I remember after the golf tournament, there was me, Gretzky, Wayne, and Keith, and I think Brent, and maybe a couple other guys. We were in this limo. We went back into Edmonton, and we pulled into McDonald's in a limo, Wayne Gretzky. And then he had a party.
Did he buy at least?
Huh?
Did he buy at least?
Oh yeah, I guess. I don't know. But I remember there was some movie stars at that deal too, and Wayne had a party in his penthouse in downtown Edmonton, and there's a baby grand piano in there. And I remember this one Hollywood guy. He was a soap opera guy, and he got on the piano. We just all chilled and hung out and tried to sing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a class act. Wayne's a good guy.
He is. Yeah, he's big into his winery now, and he's just opening one up in the Okanagan right now. So I'm pretty excited about that.
He's a big baseball guy too. His son,
Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
I think it was Ty got drafted. Is that his kid's name? Right?
Yep.
Ty Gretzky got drafted to the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, and his daughter Paula married a pro golfer.
Dustin Johnson.
Yeah.
She's gorgeous, obviously, but the Dustin Johnson's a hell of a good golf player too.
She's gorgeous like you.
Oh, look at me! I'm the face of the franchise. I gotta carry this guy.
Yeah, right.
That's what happens when you play beer league Division 10. I mean,
hey, I laid the penalties in all of the 10 divisions in my beer league. I'm a young Theo Fleury. I always grew up wanting to be Theo Fleury. I'm now Brad Marchand type. Where
well, you got the schnoz.
Yeah, I got the schnoz. I'm 5 feet tall, and I like to hack and whack. And I hope that I piss people off till they want to kick my ass.
I hope you're not licking their faces though.
No, I don't do that shit. I'm a germaphobe. I don't like to lick.
Right?
I'll wash my hands.
I'm the same way. I got OCD, right?
Yeah, so. Me too.
You do.
Maybe that came from hitting my head, but
maybe that caused their noses to grow.
Hey, I could be. I got the beak for sure.
He's not one of those Burroughs biters either. Not biting people's fingers.
Yeah, right.
There's some weird stuff that happens. It's pretty funny.
Well, the game's intense, and
do you have any weird stories of like something weird that happened on the ice that shouldn't have happened?
I had one guy that really offended me, and he's a coach now in the NHL. And I heard, and I know he's a really good guy, but he spit in my face one time.
Oh,
and that to me is being a germaphobe, OCD. I was just, you sure got under my skin, right?
Yeah,
that's nasty. Did you ever have a player that you just hated, like someone that would just crash the crease and always be spraying ice in your eyes? Anyone like that?
Yeah, there was a few. A guy like that, when I was playing in Vegas, I had Darcy Lowen, and Darcy and I played in Buffalo together. And when my first practice back, I'm kind of, fearing, the guys coming at me, and Darcy has one speed, fast, and he always crashes the crease, even in practice. He's a competitor. And I remember him bearing down on me like it was a 3-on-2 in practice, and And I remember I almost pooped my pants, but later on I had Darcy in Vegas, and we were playing together, and he'd look at me in between periods if the other goalie was on fire, and he'd look at me, and I go, give him the nod and the wink. Well, his first shift of the game, that puck went anywhere near that goalie, he'd put the goalie through the net, hit the boards. I mean, he was he was my player assistant coach when I was the head coach in Idaho. And so Darcy's he's down in Vegas now. He's a fire chief.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Clint, I can't thank you enough for coming on today, man. Like, we really, really appreciate it. And growing up, I mean, we loved watching you. It was a good time always. Obviously, other than the scary incident, we loved watching you. We're huge fans of yours, and we wish you best of luck with this ranch going forward.
Yeah, thank you. That'd be awesome.
Thank you for taking the time to talk to us, and I appreciate we were busting my ass about the nose jokes, but hey, that's part of the thing.
Hey, you know what I've learned through
ugly, not beautiful.
Hockey's got some beautiful, camaraderie, and most of it comes from making fun of each other.
Oh, definitely.
And yourself.
It's the locker room talk when you can shoot the shit with the boys and they can chirp you and you're okay with it, then that makes you a good person.
Don't show that you don't like something.
Oh, definitely. I don't show that stuff.
Yeah. And same with I do a lot with Wounded Warriors now, that gallows humor. And, they make fun of guys with one arm. They call him lefty when it's right arm, just, it's great because they all have PTSD. I do the hockey part of it, and I coach them. And I'm just like, wow, these guys are ruthless, just like we are. And
that's the way it should be. If you're not busting chops of your good friends, then
right.
Right. I expect my good friends to be busting my chops, and it makes for a good friendship.
Yep.
Thank you for coming on. And
anyone that's listening right now, if you haven't read the book, I've Survived in the Crease and Beyond, I highly suggest reading it, guys.
The Crazy Game, How I Survived the Crease and Beyond.
Yes.
Yeah. Main title is The Crazy Game.